Welcome, beautiful Sigma ladies. The truth doesn't destroy you, it just burns everything fake about you. That's the part most women can't handle. They love the idea of being real until reality stops flattering them. But Sigma females, they don't just face the truth, they wrestle it, bleed with it, and still walk out smiling. While others are busy protecting their comfort zones, the Sigma female treats comfort like an enemy that dulls her instincts. Here's the uncomfortable fact. Studies show that people with higher self-awareness experience more emotional discomfort than average because they actually see what others deny. That's the Sigma curse and crown combined. She doesn't get to live in illusion. She lives in raw clarity. And let's be honest, it's not easy being the only one who sees through everyone's favorite lies. She laughs when people call her too serious, because if they saw what she sees, they'd lose their appetite for small talk too. What separates her from other women isn't attitude, it's the unbearable honesty she refuses to water down just to be liked. This is where the masks melt, the comfort fades, and the truth stands naked. Welcome to the world only Sigma females can handle. The truth women can't. Number 1. The truth she handles. That others can't, most women chase comfort like it's safety. But Sigma females learned long ago that comfort is a clever kind of trap. It keeps people predictable, keeps their fire small, and keeps their souls half asleep. She knows that peace and power rarely live in the same house. The moment you start growing, peace leaves. The moment you start owning yourself, the world stops clapping. And she's fine with that. She doesn't need applause, she needs alignment. She's one of the few who can live in the contradiction, the beauty and the brutality of awareness. Most people can't stand seeing the truth about themselves, their relationships, or the world. They prefer denial because it's easier to sleep next to a lie than wake up to loneliness. But she doesn't run from what's real. She stares straight at it, even when it cracks something inside her. That's her secret. She doesn't chase happiness. She chases understanding. And sometimes that understanding hurts. Being awake in a world that rewards pretending isn't fun. It's heavy. It's isolating. Everyone wants authenticity until someone actually shows it. The Sigma female lives on that edge, too aware to blend in, too grounded to fake it. She knows peace isn't smiling all the time. It's knowing you can't be manipulated anymore. That kind of peace costs your comfort, your crowd, and sometimes your heart. But she pays the price anyway because fake peace feels like poison. She's learned that truth doesn't make life easier. It makes it cleaner. It cuts out everything that drains her. And once she tastes that kind of purity, she can never go back to noise, gossip, or emotional junk food. The truth strips her world bare, but it also makes it real. That's what other women can't handle, that the truth won't cuddle you. It will crown you, but only after it's burned away every version of you that settled for less. And the Sigma female? She can take the fire. Number 2, she knows peace feels boring to the unhealed. To most people, peace feels like nothing. No drama, no chase, no adrenaline, just stillness. And for the unhealed, that stillness feels like emptiness. They confuse chaos with connection, thinking the louder the emotions, the deeper the bond. But the Sigma female knows better. She's lived through enough storms to recognize that peace isn't boring. It's rare. It's what comes after you've finally stopped entertaining nonsense disguised as love and excitement. She's not interested in emotional roller coasters anymore. She used to mistake tension for passion and inconsistency for mystery, but not anymore. Now she can see instability from a mile away, no matter how charming it looks in the beginning. She's learned that calmness doesn't mean lack of intensity. It means control. It's the kind of control that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what kind of energy you refuse to host. Her calm energy unsettles people who thrive on chaos. They poke at her peace just to feel alive again, trying to drag her into the same noise she's already healed from. They call her distant, detached, even cold. But really she's just uninterested in confusion. Once you've healed, you realize that drama isn't passion. It's dysfunction in expensive clothing. She doesn't need to prove how much she cares by arguing, crying, or competing. Her silence is not weakness, it's mastery. She's found out that real peace doesn't need constant stimulation to feel good. It just is. That's what makes her intimidating. To the unhealed, her calm feels like rejection. To her, it's self-respect. So while others keep chasing chaos and calling it chemistry, she stays still, steady, and centered. She knows peace doesn't need to perform. It just exists, quietly, powerfully, and without permission. And that's why the Sigma female's calm isn't emptiness. It's evidence she finally stopped mistaking pain for love. Number 3. She understands that love without respect is just emotional slavery. To the Sigma female, love that demands her silence isn't love, it's ownership. She's seen how easily "I care about you" can turn into "I want to control you." That's why she values respect more than romance. Affection means nothing if it comes with manipulation. Sweet words don't impress her anymore. Consistent respect does. She's not interested in someone who loves her loudly but listens rarely. She's walked through relationships where love was used as a leash, disguised as concern, disguised as protection, disguised as passion. But she learned the hard way that if someone needs to shrink her strength just to feel secure, it's not love. It's dependency dressed as devotion. And she refuses to carry anyone's insecurity like it's her duty. The Sigma female doesn't crave validation. She craves mutual regard. She wants to be seen as a partner, not a possession. So when she notices affection that comes with invisible handcuffs, guilt, jealousy, control, she detaches without hesitation. She doesn't fight to be understood. She leaves to protect her freedom. It's not arrogance. It's self-respect with a backbone. Most people mistake her boundaries for coldness, but that's only because they've never met a woman who can walk away from love that disrespects her. She doesn't stay because of history or promises. She stays if the energy stays honest. And when it isn't, she leaves without turning bitter. To her, love is supposed to feel like growth, not suffocation. Respect is the soil that keeps it alive. Without it, even the most passionate connection rots into control and resentment. That's why the Sigma female would rather be misunderstood in silence than adored in a cage. Because she knows, the moment she has to surrender her self-respect to keep love alive, it's no longer love worth keeping. Number 4. Her standards are built from scar tissue, not preference. The Sigma female's standards aren't a list she made after reading self-help quotes. They're survival codes written in pain. She didn't wake up one day and decide to raise the bar. Life did it for her. Every boundary she has carries a backstory, a betrayal, a disappointment, a lesson that left a mark. That's why she doesn't negotiate them, not because she's proud, but because she remembers what it cost her to build them. People often accuse her of being too picky or hard to please, but that's because they mistake her scars for ego. What they don't see are the nights she had to rebuild herself after being drained, used, or dismissed. Her standards aren't about superiority, they're about safety. They protect her from ever being reduced again. She's not testing people, she's filtering them. She no longer gives chances just because someone promises they'll do better. Words mean nothing to someone who's been burned by them too many times. She watches actions, consistency, and energy. If something feels off, she doesn't argue with it. She withdraws. That's the calmness that scares people. She can cut ties without anger because her peace isn't up for negotiation. Her boundaries aren't walls, they're wisdom. They exist because she's done trying to heal from what she could have avoided. Every line she draws was written in the ink of experience, not pride. And while others may see her standards as too high, she knows they're simply the right height for peace. To love a Sigma female is to understand that she didn't build her strength from comfort. She built it from survival. Her standards aren't decorations, they're armor. And if someone can't meet them, she won't lower them. She'll simply walk away, not out of anger, but out of respect for the woman her scars forced her to become. Number 5, she doesn't seek equality. She creates equilibrium. The Sigma female doesn't beg for a seat at anyone's table. She builds her own and lets energy decide who can sit there. Equality, for her, isn't something to fight for. It's something she naturally commands. She doesn't demand respect because her presence makes it non-negotiable. She's not in competition with men or other women. She's in alignment with herself. And when you're in alignment, balance happens without noise. She's long past trying to prove her worth. That's a game for those still seeking external approval. The Sigma female knows that when you operate from truth, you don't need to convince anyone to value you. They either rise to your level or disappear. Her power doesn't shout, it stabilizes. She brings order simply by refusing to lower her frequency to match chaos. While others get caught up in gender battles or power struggles, she understands that real equilibrium isn't about dominance. It's about energy management. She doesn't need to win arguments or take control. She simply maintains her center so strongly that others either find peace around her or leave. Her calm becomes the unspoken rule of engagement. People often mistake her balance for detachment, but it's really mastery. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't demand validation, she radiates certainty. And in that still power, she creates an atmosphere where only truth can survive. Those who rely on manipulation or ego can't function in her field. Her energy exposes imbalance without her saying a word. The Sigma female's equilibrium is her quiet rebellion against a world obsessed with proving, competing, and performing. She doesn't seek equality because she already is the balance, grounded, powerful, and untouchably centered. And anyone who steps into her orbit has only two options: rise to her calm or fade in their own noise. Number 6. People don't abandon her. She outgrows them in silence. When the Sigma female leaves, there's never drama. No heated words, no slammed doors, no public declarations. Just quiet distance, the kind that feels almost unreal until it becomes permanent. She doesn't walk away to prove a point. She walks away because something within her has shifted. Her energy simply no longer fits where it used to. While most people need closure to move on, she doesn't. Her silence is the closure. The truth is, she never loses people. She just evolves beyond what once connected them. Growth has always been her natural rhythm, and most people can't keep up with that. They stay the same, recycling habits, arguments, and patterns, while she keeps peeling away layers of herself. Eventually, the vibration mismatch becomes too loud to ignore. So, she withdraws. Not out of anger, but out of acceptance. And when she's gone, that's when they finally understand what her presence meant. Her calmness was never emptiness, it was balance. Her listening wasn't passive, it was grounding. The same peace they once took for granted becomes the silence they can't stand. But by then, she's already somewhere else, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, moving forward without bitterness, without noise. People often think they abandoned her because she seemed distant. What they don't realize is that she'd already left long before the goodbye. Her withdrawal is a process that happens quietly, like a flower closing at night. By the time anyone notices, the connection has already wilted. That's the beauty and the sting of the Sigma female. She never needs to announce her absence. Her silence says everything. Those who truly valued her feel the void. Those who didn't never deserved her peace in the first place. She doesn't chase explanations or revenge. She simply evolves, leaving behind echoes of calm in the places where her energy once kept chaos from consuming everyone else. Number 7. She knows peace feels boring to the unhealed. To the Sigma female, peace is not the absence of feeling, it's the presence of control. She understands that many people confuse chaos for passion because they've never lived outside of it. They equate peace with dullness simply because they've been conditioned to survive on emotional highs and crashes. But she's tasted both, the rush of drama and the quiet of inner balance, and she knows which one truly feeds the soul. Her peace didn't come cheap. It came after unlearning the habit of mistaking emotional chaos for connection. She's been in situations where love felt like walking on glass, thrilling, intense, but exhausting. Over time, she realized that excitement built on instability always collapses. That's why she doesn't crave the adrenaline of toxic love or the thrill of emotional games anymore. She's no longer impressed by noise. She values emotional stillness, the kind that feels like breathing clean air after years of smoke. Her calm presence unsettles people who haven't healed, because it exposes how addicted they are to disorder. They call her boring, distant, or too quiet. But what they're really feeling is discomfort in her peace. Her lack of chaos mirrors their lack of control. They don't know how to exist without conflict, so they try to provoke it, just to feel alive. But the Sigma female doesn't take the bait. She doesn't need arguments to feel important or affection to feel secure. Her peace is her status symbol. It's her silent rebellion against a world that glorifies dysfunction and calls it passion. She knows stability doesn't mean lifelessness. It means emotional maturity. It means being able to sit with calm without craving chaos. And that's what makes her rare. While others chase excitement that drains them, she chooses stillness that strengthens her. To her, peace isn't boring. It's power without noise. Number 8. She's too self-aware to be fully comfortable. For the Sigma female, awareness is both armor and burden. She sees too much, feels too deeply, and connects the dots others refuse to notice. While most people can float through life cushioned by denial, she doesn't have that luxury. Her mind doesn't rest. It scans, reads, and decodes everything around her. The conversations, the silences, the hidden motives. Nothing escapes her perception. That's why comfort rarely feels natural to her. She's awake in a world that prefers sleep. It's not that she doesn't want to relax. She simply can't unsee what she sees. When something feels off, her intuition vibrates like an alarm. She notices the change in tone when someone's pretending, the tension behind a smile, the truth buried under compliments. Most people can enjoy ignorance as peace. For her, ignorance feels like betrayal. Her mind demands honesty, even when it hurts. This level of awareness isolates her. She often stands quietly in rooms filled with people who think everything's fine, while she senses the fractures no one will acknowledge. It's exhausting, being tuned into the undercurrents all the time. That's why she values solitude, not because she hates people, but because silence is the only place her awareness doesn't feel like a curse. Her depth also makes joy complicated. She can't enjoy superficial happiness because her mind keeps peeling back layers, analyzing motives, questioning authenticity. It's not cynicism, it's clarity. But that clarity can feel heavy, like carrying too much light in a dim room. Still, she wouldn't trade it. She knows awareness is the price of freedom. Comfort may bring rest, but it also brings blindness, and she refuses to live blind. So she walks through life, half at peace, half on guard, knowing that being this awake means she'll never be fully comfortable. But for the Sigma female, truth is worth the discomfort, because pretending to be at peace is a cage she'll never step into again. Number 9. She doesn't believe in closure. She believes in control. The Sigma female knows that closure is just another word for emotional permission, a way of asking someone else to make peace for you. She doesn't need that. She's learned that when something ends, the truth is already written in the silence. She doesn't chase explanations because she understands that words rarely change what's real. People lie, rewrite history, or speak to ease their guilt, not her pain. So, instead of waiting for closure, she chooses control, the quiet kind that comes from pulling her energy back and sealing her own wounds. She's been through the cycle enough times to know that closure is often just a disguised attempt to reconnect. It's the mind's trick to revisit what the soul has already outgrown. That's why she doesn't go back to rehash old stories or seek understanding. She doesn't need to be told why someone couldn't value her. She's already accepted that they couldn't meet her where she stood. Her peace doesn't depend on their version of events. When things fall apart, she doesn't beg for reasons. She simply steps back and reclaims what's hers. Her energy, her focus, her balance. That's how she heals, by redirecting what was once wasted on explanation into power. She doesn't announce her detachment or stage her exit. She just goes quiet, and that silence becomes her statement. People often confuse her calmness for lack of feeling, but it's the opposite. She feels everything deeply. She's just learned to let go without demanding closure that never satisfies. She knows the most powerful ending isn't the one with answers. It's the one where you no longer care to ask. For her, control isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering herself. Closure seeks validation from the outside. Control restores it from within. And that's why the Sigma female always walks away intact, not because she got closure, but because she became it. Number 10. Her confidence doesn't need to be loud, it needs to be final. The Sigma female's confidence doesn't enter the room with fireworks. It settles in like gravity. She doesn't raise her voice or fight for attention because her energy already commands it. While others equate confidence with visibility, she understands that real power doesn't have to announce itself. It's quiet, steady, and absolute. She doesn't need to convince anyone of her worth. She knows it, and that knowing radiates louder than any speech ever could. Her confidence comes from self-certainty, not validation. She's not performing strength. She is strength, the kind that doesn't flinch under scrutiny or crumble under rejection. When she speaks, people listen, not because she's forceful, but because her words carry weight. Even her silence has presence. It's the kind of silence that ends debates without effort, not because she's trying to win, but because she's already beyond the need to prove. This quiet confidence unsettles people who rely on noise to feel important. They expect her to argue, explain, or defend herself, but she never does. She lets people misunderstand her if they must. Her peace matters more than their approval. She's mastered the art of letting her actions and energy do all the speaking. When she makes a decision, it's final, not up for debate, not open for negotiation. That firmness is what gives her an aura of calm dominance. She doesn't need to be right in everyone's eyes. She just needs to be right with herself. Her confidence doesn't waver because it's not built on applause, it's built on truth. She's been doubted, dismissed, and underestimated enough times to know that silence often delivers the most powerful message. So, when she walks away, sets a boundary or makes a choice, there's no drama, just finality. Her energy says everything. This is who I am, this is where I stand, and nothing you say will shift it. That's the kind of confidence that doesn't echo. It lingers. Number 11. Feminine energy isn't always soft. Sometimes it's sovereign. The Sigma female understands that true femininity doesn't mean bending or yielding to fit someone else's expectations. While the world teaches women to weaponize softness, to smile, accommodate, or play fragile in order to gain approval, She knows real power isn't in asking to be noticed. Her femininity is not a performance, it's sovereignty. It carries authority without aggression, presence without apology, and magnetism without manipulation. Her energy doesn't fluctuate based on who is watching. She doesn't soften to avoid conflict, and she doesn't perform kindness to earn validation. Every gesture, every word, every silence reflects her control over herself and her environment. People may mistake her calmness for weakness, but in reality, her restraint amplifies her strength. Sovereign femininity doesn't need to dominate overtly. It commands through presence, through the quiet gravity of someone who knows her worth. This energy unsettles others, especially those accustomed to transactional relationships. She doesn't negotiate respect, she embodies it. She doesn't chase approval, she radiates influence naturally. And unlike superficial displays of softness, her sovereignty cannot be borrowed, mimicked, or manipulated. It's intrinsic, born from self-mastery and unshakable self-awareness. She also knows the fine line between being approachable and being diminished. While softness can create connection, it should never dilute authority. Her femininity allows her to interact gracefully while holding the power to define the terms of engagement. She doesn't compromise her boundaries to please anyone, because true feminine energy thrives in authenticity, not acquiescence. In a world where femininity is often misunderstood as compliance, she stands apart. She teaches, silently, that being a woman doesn't mean giving up power. Her energy doesn't yield. It commands, not through intimidation, but through an undeniable presence that draws respect, attention, and alignment without asking for it. Sovereign femininity is her signature, and it cannot be ignored. Number 12. Emotional independence terrifies the world. The Sigma female doesn't look for someone to fix her, validate her, or carry her through life. She doesn't rely on emotional handouts, and she doesn't perform vulnerability for attention. That kind of independence is terrifying to a world built on dependence. Society profits from women who crumble, complain, and bend to others for stability. She refuses to play that role. Her strength isn't loud or performative, it's self-sustaining. Because she doesn't need emotional rescue, she makes people uncomfortable. Partners, friends, and even family often feel redundant around her. They expect tears, doubt, or pleas for reassurance, and when those never come, they question whether she even feels at all. But the truth is, she feels deeply. She just doesn't outsource her healing. She processes, she resolves, and she moves forward, all internally, all silently, all efficiently. Her emotional independence disrupts the unspoken social order. It exposes the reliance, manipulation, and insecurity others camouflage as normal. People who are used to controlling through guilt, drama, or need find her presence unnerving because she doesn't feed into it. She doesn't participate in emotional currency. She doesn't trade her stability for someone else's temporary comfort. She's not cold or unfeeling. She simply refuses to make her emotional life someone else's business. That refusal is revolutionary because it forces everyone around her to confront their own dependence. In thriving without an emotional audience, she becomes a model of self-reliance, showing that strength is not a performance and that peace is not dependent on approval. In short, the Sigma female breaks the system quietly. She doesn't argue, she doesn't plead, and she doesn't dramatize. She just exists on her own terms, and in doing so she terrifies anyone invested in keeping women small, needy, or dependent. Emotional independence isn't rebellion for her. It's the only way to be fully free. The truth about Sigma females isn't a comfort story. It's a revelation. They live in a space most women can't even comprehend. They don't chase approval, perform vulnerability, or sacrifice their peace for anyone else. Their energy doesn't beg to be noticed, it commands. Their calm unsettles the unhealed, their silence carries more weight than arguments, and their boundaries aren't negotiable. They're sacred. Every choice, every standard, every moment of withdrawal is a declaration. They will not dim themselves to fit a world that profits from compromise. To witness a Sigma female is to see what happens when clarity, self-awareness, and sovereignty collide. She doesn't just exist. She evolves, she conquers, and she reshapes her environment without lifting a finger. Her life is a series of lessons in power, resilience, and unapologetic authenticity. She thrives where others stumble. She speaks when others shout, and she walks alone when the crowd cannot follow. This is not a guide for imitation. It is an invitation to observe, respect, and understand. The Sigma female thrives on truth that most cannot handle, and her world is one where comfort is traded for depth, calm is stronger than chaos, and sovereignty is valued above all else. She challenges everything society assumes about women and power, proving that the highest form of femininity isn't about submission, it's about mastery. If this resonates with you, if it challenges what you thought you knew, and if you're ready to see the world through the lens of extraordinary awareness, then stay close. Don't just watch, engage. Subscribe to the channel to uncover more truths that only the few can handle. Like if this opened your mind, comment with your thoughts and share with someone who needs to see this perspective. The Sigma path isn't easy, but the clarity it brings is priceless, and it's waiting for those bold enough to embrace it.